so very nice to see you today. You're lovely in every way possible. I'm Susan Eustace, and I have more than 20 years experience teaching preschool through adulthood. I have some information to share with you today, and our tip is for reading comprehension. Go back to the text. Basically, all comprehension can be collapsed into 3 basic areas. It starts with literal comprehension, it moves to inferential comprehension, and then at the highest level, the evaluative. You'll need literal comprehension for basic textual understanding. It's where all comprehension starts. So let's talk about a concrete example today. This is a teacher-devised question from Chapter 2 of a text, and it asks if George Washington has had any serious illnesses as a young man, and what were the consequences of the disease. The first thing you need to see is that it comes from Chapter 2. And you also need to see that it's a multi-part or 2-part question, and you'll need to mark each of those parts so that you give each part of the question the fervor that it deserves. Let's look at a concrete example of the text. The very first thing I always do is mark my chapter headings so I can turn directly to the correct chapter. Let's turn to Chapter 2 now. That's where the question came from. If I'm looking at the text, I see that I'm always going to read the titles. And this is about Mount Vernon. This is a picture of Mount Vernon, and the text is a big picture idea. It doesn't give me the answer to the question, so I move on. The next 2 pages are a pictorial representation of Mount Vernon. Again, I can move forward to find the answer to the question I'm looking for. Here I'm going to look at the pictures first, and George Washington as a young man is fencing. They're talking about manners. I know these are surveyor tools from the 1700s. I see the word surveyors. Still doesn't answer my question. I need to move forward in the text. A map, and then this whole section is about his teeth. I know the answer is not there. I move forward in the text. And here some words jump out at me. I see the words serious health problems, so I know I'm going to closely read that section. And it says, George came down with smallpox, which is a deadly disease. Next sentence, George survived. Now I can answer that question with confidence. And I can look at each of those sections. There are other examples you can think of for literal comprehension. For example, what years did Abraham Lincoln serve as President of the United States? Or how many body parts does an insect have? I'd like you to think about how you could go back to the text to find those answers for basic literal understanding. I also have some homework for you today. What I'd like you to do is take the book that you're enjoying right now at home, and I'd like you to devise 3 to 5 literal comprehension questions, questions that can be answered straight from the text. And I'd like you to create and devise those questions and then answer those questions. Try multi-part questions as well. Then go to the comment line and tell me what you've done and how successful you are. Study on, my friends. I'm rooting for you.